Can we shut that door, please?
Well, just an incredible atmosphere tonight. I thought our game operations and creating an incredible environment with 100 years of Tiger Stadium. Hats off to them. I thought they made that the stadium environment unique and electric, and what you want for a game day event, and then the two teams played up to that and lived up to it. It was certainly many people were expecting maybe a similar shootout to last year. I didn't think that would be the case. I thought this would be much more about opportunities that were going to have to come by and be taken advantage of. We didn't early on. Obviously, we turned touchdowns into field goals, or didn't get touchdowns and led to field goals. But can't say enough about the defensive effort tonight. Sacks, harassing the quarterback, making the big plays when they needed to, and that's what we've been talking about in terms of getting better each and every week on both sides of the ball. That was complementary football for us, and you have to do that to beat a top 10 team. And really proud of our football team and the way they never blinked. They were down virtually the whole game, and they just kept playing. There was no frustration. It would have been easy for our offense to get frustrated, not getting touchdowns, but they just kept plodding along. Garrett would tell you that there were things that he learned. I thought he grew more today than at any time that he's been here. That was a growth game for him, and you may see it differently. But as a coach, the growth that he was able to exhibit through that game and at the end is going to serve him well. So, just a great ball game. Hats off to Ole Miss, but really proud of our football team and the way they persevered to a victory tonight in overtime. So with that, we'll open up the questions.
Coach, you mentioned it was a growth game for Garrett. What were those areas of growth that you saw from him as the game went along?
Yeah, I think, being in a situation where predictable passing situations with, 7 and 8 man drops into coverage, requires a great deal of patience and mobility. You have to keep the play alive. And he did that later in the game much better than just trying to, throw it down the field. And as the game grew on, he made some plays where he kept plays alive, and he's capable of doing that. And so we saw another version that kind of grew out of, some of the things that were being, thrown at him tonight. And then certainly late in the game, the back shoulder throw, which we've been working a lot on, which is part of his repertoire that hadn't been shown. And then clearly, the great throw that ties it up on fourth down. Just really, really growth that is going to, I think, skyrocket him in terms of the next level.
Can you, specifically that 4th and 5, can you just kind of walk us through what was going on there from your perspective and what allowed Garrett and Aaron to have success there?
Very similar. They were in a 2-deep shell, and we're pulling the backside safety out with a corner route and then bringing the slot receiver all the way back across the field. So the first thing is you need protection. So let me just say this. You can ask me all you want about the run game, but the bottom line is what won this game for us was our offensive line keeping him clean with no sacks and giving him the time in a play like that to bring the slot receiver all the way across to the backside hash after we had pulled the safety off the backside hash. And he fits it in there with kind of a 3/4 sidearm sling to get it in there. Just pretty special play.
Brian, throughout your career, can you think of any instances where you've seen a kind of a wild high wire result like this maybe galvanize a team, a program?
Well, I think it's in many ways. I think our guys need to get used to it because their preparation is as good as any group that I've had, and that preparation was not transforming. It wasn't giving us the kind of performances that I thought it would, and I was frustrated with that earlier in the year. The preparation was outstanding, but we weren't seeing it in the performances. They weren't as sharp as I thought they would be. And now it's starting to translate a little bit better. And I think a lot of it has to do with them just not being distracted and really staying focused on what they need. So this is a team that's getting better each and every week. And sometimes that happens. Some teams come out of the gates hot and they're really good and they just get better and better. This team is getting better as it goes through the season.
Coach, obviously a huge win for you. Top 10 versus top 10, lived up to every syllable of its billing. How much confidence does this give your team as you continue through the meat of the SEC schedule? Oklahoma, Alabama, and other teams coming up. It doesn't get any easier from here.
No, and we just talked about it. I said, listen, let's enjoy this. We had the 24-hour rule in effect. Let's have 24 hours. We've worked really hard for this victory. The preparation, as I mentioned, was outstanding. So I want you to enjoy it, make good decisions, be smart, represent LSU in a positive way. But here's the big but. You got Arkansas on the road, and that is a tough opponent. So, we got to get right back at it. In the next 14 days, Arkansas and Texas A&M on the road, it will be a challenge. And I think now they've got the confidence that they can go out there and translate really good preparation into better performances that can, get them the victories they need.
Coach, right over here, your defense obviously played with a lot of passion and energy, but you've been very, adamant about doing your job. Can you speak to that a little bit and what it looks like when that group stays in their lane and does what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's about controlling the controllables for us, right? What can they control? And getting them in that kind of mindset of, all right, look, I can control how I think, and thinking the right way has been a real big chore with this group, and getting them thinking about positive outcomes, getting them thinking about one play at a time instead of thinking about the light show. It was a beautiful light show, but, and the scoreboard and all the other things. And wow, that was a great set of music. Just getting them locked in and focused on what's important. And they're so much better at that than they were in week one. And so control the controllables, play with physicality, and then an awareness. They're playing with a better awareness tactically on third down, red zone, short yardage, things of that nature. And that's what I'm referring to in particular.
Hey, Brian, I want to stay with that. Just the defense being put in tough situations, right? And you talked about complimentary football at the beginning of the week, their ability to respond, but they're also the ability to pressure and contain at the same time. What's leading to that?
They understand the defense so much better. They're doing their job. And it's really been just a consistency in messaging. And how do you execute at the highest level when you need to? And to do that, you have to be able to stay locked in one play at a time. And we were not great at that early on. And we're getting so much better. And the communication's better. And we don't have a one play where we didn't rip through the B gap, and didn't let a gap charge go. We're just much more focused on doing our job consistently, play in and play out. It's a constant application of it that we lacked, and we're getting so much better at.
Yeah, Coach, you could just see it on the field that these defensive players really wanted this, and they were very physical throughout the entire game. Two guys that kind of come to mind: Braden Swinson, Zy Alexander. Two different parts of the field, but just what did you see from them, and just how important they were to you guys getting this game?
Swinson was, and has lived up to what he has done all year, a performance level of a defensive end that is playing at a high level. I mean, he's pressuring the quarterback. He's coming up with big plays. But where we have been deficient is winning matchups down the field. And Zy Alexander was outstanding tonight. He won the matchups. He tackled in space. We were able to stay in a position where they weren't in a lot of second and shorts. And because of that, because we got them behind the chains, we were able to set coverages. We were able to do some things and change the look quite a bit. They had to use a couple of timeouts because they didn't like the looks that we changed to. And that had a lot to do with the corner in particular. And I thought Ashton did a pretty good job too. But Zy was outstanding, and he got the game ball tonight.
Coach Becker, Greg Penn and Whit Weeks seem to play really well off of each other. What do you see from them?
Well, I think Whit had how many tackles? 18? He had 18 tackles. So, and look, 18 tackles is just virtually impossible in this game today. And he was all over the field. He plays with great energy, a great fire. He runs so well that he can cover down the field. And then Greg Penn is getting everybody lined up. He's our green dot. I mean, he's just the glue. He's our glue guy for us. And it's just a great combination, those two guys working together right now.
Brian, going back to when you referenced week one for a second, back then you talked about how the defense wasn't ready to carry the team, and it seemed like this may have been an opportunity for that. What do you think about their ability to grow and be able to carry this team until the offense gets going?
I don't know that I'm interested in any one side of the ball carrying the team as much as I want to be, complimentary in terms of I think our offense can play better. I think our defense is ascending and playing better football each and every week. And I think that, to me, what's most important is guys are gaining confidence as we go through the season defensively and playing with a lot more confidence. You're going to see the results. And offensively, we, certainly, putting up 30 points or 29 points against what I would consider one of the better defenses that we're going to see this year, and that wasn't our best performance. And now we're down some guys too. I mean, we're not. We're not complaining here, but we've gotten our fair share of injuries, and our guys haven't complained about it. They've just rolled with the punches, and they went back out there and they competed tonight. I think we're going to get some guys back here pretty soon, and I think our offense will start to pick it up a little bit.
Just wanted your thoughts on throughout the night. It seemed like maybe it was hard to finish drives offensively with touchdowns but at the end, last drive of regulation and then overtime, you finished. Can you
Thank you.
Speak?
That's you said it better than I could have said it. Thank you, Jacques. You've been in this business a long time. Look, it would have been easier for us to be frustrated, those that watched the game, but Garrett wasn't frustrated. And what we saw at the end was why I thought it was a great growth game. He made the plays when he needed to make them, the big ones. Tied the game up right before the game ends, and then wins it in overtime. That to me is more indicative of what you're looking for from your offense than the inability to put it in the end zone. We got to go back and look at the film. Maybe we got to coach a little bit better. Because those players, they believed that they were going to win the game.
One more. You've got a lot to choose from, I understand. But can you remember being a part of a game that the only time you led was after the final play of the game?
I can't remember my, middle name sometimes. So, no, in honesty, I think that was a game that was one of, just a few that I've had in my career that it always felt like we were, one step behind and we were always trying to stay in the game. That's why I kicked the extra point, to be honest with you. I just felt like our guys worked too hard to get back in that game that I didn't want to go for two as an all or nothing situation. I wanted to kick it and get into overtime, which ended up being the right thing to do. Good? All right, thank you.
Thank you. It's cleared off outside 40s.